floor in there, or a floor in there, because it's... yeah, spot my deliberate mistake. I've obviously built a floor all the way through, and it's all down into here now, which means it's going to ruin these plants. Hello GSV peeps and all, it's Dangly Bob here and welcome to Oxygen Not Included. This is a new game I've been getting into, not been able to fly just recently, spending a little time away, and this game plays well on the laptop, but I can't produce the flight videos, but I'll get back to that in a bit. I said this is not really the same sort of game that I'm used to playing. It's a 2D sort of platformy, but it is a survival-y type game, and it's sort of strangely addictive, so you will see me playing this for a little while yet. Now the premise of this is basically, it's a sort of platform survival-y type game, but it's all based around oxygen. You start off with these 3 crew members here, and your first 3 crew members, or duplicates as they're called, you can shuffle around and get your a random selection of stats here. So it's important to choose the first 3 because they're the ones you're going to end up first trying to survive with. And I said there are different ways of playing this, and the game map itself is process generated, and it's different every time you play it. So I have played for a little bit with this. So have a look around here. You can also change the names. I'm going to stay with the names I've got for the minute. But I'm going to look for a decent athletics score. 8 athletics. I don't want loud sleeper. It means they wake everybody else up. I do like the divers. Look, this is a positive benefit. This is your negative benefit. Down here you've got your decor expectation. The decor expectations to do with ugliness of their surroundings and their stress response when they get overly stressed. Either they vomit or at the moment they get destructive. Those are the only 2 you got. You have to manage that. Tinkering 5. So yeah, I'm looking for, I said, athletics. Go for, right. He's quite good. Abe, right, he's a level 7 runner at the moment, so he's got 7 athletics. He is slightly creative, he can dig, etc. Narcoleptic means he can fall asleep anytime, any place, which can be a bit of a problem, but not as much of a problem as some of the other things. And early bird means he wakes up earlier. He adds +2 skills at morning and removes them at night. So, but yeah, they sleep at night, so that's not really a problem. And the decor expectation, I wouldn't expect anything higher than 10 in the early game. Again, but you need to be, yeah, fine. Little thing down here, Abe's are sweet, delicate flowers, need to be treated gingerly with grace. I've not really noticed that this little explanation here seems to be a little of fun, not really anything else. So over here we've got a bit of an all-rounder. Gastrophoba means you can't cook. Good decor expectation, you see, is in the negative, so he's not going to get too stressed out. And as a vomiter, do I stay with him? Do I expect him to cook? Actually, providing I get a decent cook next time round, decent construction, learning strength, early game would be good here. So we'll stay with Ruby. Barney here, tinkering, huge expectation down here. I'm going to shuffle that. We're looking for, again, early game. I want a decent learning. Strength means they carry lots. Again, he can't cook, so I've got nobody who can cook. Could do with cooking. I need high learning. Narcoleptic, I'm going to stay with that because he's got decent digging. Mole hands means he falls asleep. Mole hands good for tunnelling. Falling asleep isn't too much of a problem, and a reasonable decor. Again, no cook though, so perhaps let's go with them. We'll change the name. Let's change it for, I don't know, let's go for Danglyville. And we embark. So, apologies if the sound is slightly on the loud side. I might just... Right, your crew's awoken. First thing we can do is, all we have to do is do some... Yeah, there's some little tips pop up here. We'll get rid of those. First thing we need to do is some digging. You've got speed controls up here. These are some basic stats, food available, how stressed they are, etc. What cycle you on. Your messages pop down here. These are various odd controls we'll come to when we come to them. This is a list of stuff you have available, and then the jobs, vitals, reports, and the research and the overlays. Again, you've got this is your oxygen overlay, so you can see we've got good oxygen down here at the moment. Let's press pause for the minute while I'm taking you through this so we don't waste time. Good oxygen up here. Down here this is unbreathable stuff, low concentrations of oxygen down here. So this is what we can see at the moment. So then we have the power. Obviously you've got nothing power wise. Heat wise at the moment tells you which things are chilly, which things are temperate. Again, we've got no real problems. It gets a little bit warmer down here, as you can see, 30 degrees. Thermal comfort overlay tells you where the duplicates are going to be losing heat or gaining heat. Electrical overlay, again, nothing in there. The rest of these really, we'll come to these as and when we come to them. So the little jobs one here, you can tell people where you don't. So for instance, when we get to researching, the only one I want researching is your scientist. Everything here, and the only one I want generating power is probably Abe. And I don't want anybody building anything art-wise, cooking. So we haven't got any cooks at the moment, but okay, we'll delete the cooks for the minute. So let's close that down. So let's get on with things. Let's dig something out. You need to have a quick look around your environment first. There's a little bit of water here, a little bit of water here, a little bit of water here. Fine. Metal's going to be important early on when we start building electrics and things. There's lots of metal, and certainly looking around, got this stuff called oxylite, which is producing oxygen for us at the moment, but after that runs out we're going to need to produce oxygen, and you can do that with oxidizers, or you can turn water into hydrogen and oxygen using can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but it'll come back to me a bit later when we find them. So I'm going to dig out. What we're going to do is dig out. These things can reach sort of 2 high or 4 high, so we're going to dig up to that level there, and we'll dig across to this little patch of oxygen here. Don't want to dig out the oxylite because then it doesn't produce oxygen, it just becomes a usable, consumable ore, which we can't consume in anything else at the moment. So we'll dig out that as well. And in order to get them doing that, we'll start doing this a little bit fast. Don't need water first on. These guys don't need to drink, but you will need water when you start producing food, when you start growing plants, such as the algae terrarium. I've got some sand falling down here, ruining my little digging plan. And once we've started digging out a couple of resources, as I say, things start popping up. So I'm going to start building a ladder. Down here you'll start seeing later, we'll take you to that. Let's go up to this level here. Cancel that last one for the minute. Got some polluted water here. Polluted water you don't want to walk into, it needs to be sort of managed, so we might end up having to mop that up later. Try and keep your water clean, or you need to build water purifiers, etc. So you'll see already that this is starting. We're looking at decor overlay. Anybody who's got a high decor expectation, because of all the debris around, it's luring it. So we need to build some storage bins. So let's build those fairly quickly over here. And I'm going to dig out, for some other reason I went up a step. Never mind, we'll dig that out down there. And we're going to need a toilet fairly soon. Get a little, where's the toilet? Plumbing, here we go. Need to build a toilet fairly quickly because the guys get a little bit, build that out of sandstone. Don't think we've got any choice. No, haven't got enough materials to show you things. Right, when you collect, start storing stuff, what you do need to do is, you can't, as you can see at the moment we only have algae here, but when they start using the toilet we'll start getting polluted dirt, which is a posh name for poo. So we don't want to collect polluted dirt in here. We want to get ourselves, in a bit, we'll collect we'll do some research and we'll get a compost heap going, which then turns it into fertiliser. But yeah, you don't want contaminated oxygen or polluted oxygen, or I can't remember what thing's called now, but it spreads disease like it does in real life. Now these little things up here are hatchlings. They will actually bury into any dirt or soft ground we have around, and they produce coal, which can be useful again later, so we'll try and keep those alive. Perhaps try and hem them in, but at the same time you don't want them eating some of your valuable resources either. All my guys are getting sore backs, so I do need to start thinking about beds and things. I'm not too worried about making... what we can do here, we could start thinking about some beds. Don't want them sleeping on the floor. Getting sore backs makes them less proactive. So up here, I've said I've got those out there. Tell you what, build a ladder up here. Keep our ladders. Yeah, build a ladder up. Ooh. Cancel. When you're using your cancel buttons, you've got a choice whether you can, which things you want to cancel. Same with deconstruct, you can filter what you cancel, makes it a lot easier. And we're going to build some tiles. I'm going to leave a gap between the ladder and the tiles. That does mean, and we'll dig out 2, 3, 4. Dig those out there. 2, 3, 4. Dig those out to there. Yeah, this allows gas and particularly oxygen to pass up and down. If you've got any contaminated oxygen or carbon dioxide, gets a bit of a problem later. Just blocking the bottom of this ladder there. We want to think about where we're going to dump our carbon dioxide we produce in a bit as well. Otherwise that starts causing us problems. This is all to do, it's survival. You need to gather resources and build things to help the duplicate survive, but it's also there's a lot of management to do, with your different liquids and different gases. Right, over here, just to introduce you to the different biomes. Obviously you have this initial biome which is full of dirt and sandstone, etc. And you start getting posher elements to dig out. This here is a cold biome, which will be useful. I can build the things which generate a lot of heat here to over here, and it keeps them cool. But also will then start melting. As you know, over here we've got have ice, we have snow, there is polluted ice around obviously, and that'll produce polluted oxygen. So down here we have a certain amount of, I can see some polluted water just down the bottom of there. I'll try and keep all that into one place, so I don't have to build purifiers and things early on in the game. See, they're just picking all this stuff up and shoving it into these bins here. I am going to build some cots now. We'll build these. I want to build 3 over there, and we'll build 3 over there. We've only got 3 duplicates. You see, I haven't built those yet. They've all fallen asleep. Hatches come out. While they're asleep, there's not a lot you can do apart from sort of plan and organise stuff for them to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, because I can build stuff underneath here. I am going to need, I expect, a ladder to come down. Let's come down to this little biome here. Now as you can see, the temperature down here is in the minus. Over here it's in the 20s, so here's room temperature, here it's a bit chilly. These plants and things, this one here is mealwood, produces meal lice, which is an edible food. At some point I've got to start thinking about food, because I've only got a certain amount of rations. It's got 24,000 calories, it's highlighted up here, but that's fine. Ooh, and now we've caused ourselves a bit of a problem because I've dug out this bit here and emptied all this water down here. But that's okay, because I can dump it down into here. You want to keep your water low, because it's a lot easier to flow water into areas like this than it is to pump it around, which obviously uses electricity and is a lot slower. So we'll just let it flow into here. And we'll dig out here and here as well. And actually, I want to dig out that copper and coal and goodness knows what else. And we're going to start building some tiles. Again, like sandstone. Perhaps I'll do it with stronger material later, but put a second floor in there, or a floor in there, because it's yeah, spot my deliberate mistake. I've obviously built a floor all the way through, and it's all down into here now, which means it's going to ruin these plants. Perhaps I'll use that as my water stall for the minute then. Right, got another duplicant coming in, so do with a fourth one, but then I'll stay with 4 for a bit. You can reject them all, especially if there's nobody you particularly like. So these are you can't shuffle, so you're pretty much stuck with what you've got. So I'd like to have something which doesn't have a huge. I mean, over here, for instance, anemic. It reduces his athleticism. Depends what else he's got. He's a bit of an all-rounder, apart from he's anemic. He's got irritable bowel, which means it takes longer and goes more often. This one here can't do any research. He's cooking. I mean, he's only got +1 cooking, so he can't do any research. But he's actually got a really good digging ratio, plus tinkering, which means he's gives you a 50% tinkering speed or speed of operation. Grease Monkey obviously gives him the tinkering thing. His decor expectations pretty low. I think because we are doing a lot of digging, the miner is probably the way to go. Don't really want an unathletic and want to go to the toilet. This one, his negative one, he just means you can't perform research. That's fine because I've got a researcher for the minute. This guy over here, he's disease resistant. He's got an iron gut, which means he can eat lots of things without getting him sick. Some of the earlier level foods are pretty awful, but he does fall asleep anywhere in a place. But his decor expectations are a little bit higher. So my favourite, I think, is Devon. So we're going to go print Devon. Okay, so now I said I like keep my rooms at 4 high. So that'll be the floor 1, 2, 3, 4. This one here is I can really sort of get rid of that and put the floor in a lower level. So let's do that. I know it's wasted time, but get rid of that and put a floor in further down. And we'll keep the... So, because this is now going into a cold biome, you see the water is chilling down. I don't think it'll freeze, but it pays to keep the water a little bit cooler anyway, so that might work to my advantage. I'll sort of dig this out and make this my clean water spot. What I don't want is obviously these guys getting too stressed out. Stress only at 8% at the moment. Once they start being sick or being ill, then contaminated water gets down into here. Really don't want, but said it's not the end of the world. I have got some clean water elsewhere. So anyway, so let's say we've planned that. We've dumped a load of clean water down there. It gives us these higher areas free. So I think the time has come to think about, well, food, and tell you what, let's build some storage containers down here as well. Let's put 4 in there. Need to think about a floor in here somewhere, so that's going to be a floor 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be putting a floor in here. Yeah, no, I miscalculated that, haven't I? So let's put a floor in there. Destruct those. Take that out, and put the floor another level down. Oop. A bit more. Let's cancel that. So that allows me to put 2 4-tile height floors in there. Dig that out. Dig that out. See how we go with that. So that gives us a bit of space. As you can see, all the oxylight has started disappearing now, and I have got a little warning message here saying insufficient oxygen generation. Which means we're not producing any oxygen, apart from what's being produced up here, and is obviously then forcing itself down this ladder. And we don't have any food incoming here either, so I need to think about that. Just that. These guys will hop over a 1-tile gap, they won't hop over a 2-tile gap. You've got to watch them being caught out like that. And also our toilet will start to get a bit full, so I do think we need to start thinking about both power generation. So let's put, be nice and cool down here. I can put my batteries over here as well later, so let's put, we're going to put a generator up there, put some wire down, in fact we'll just stick a couple of little batteries there, wire them up to the manual generator. And I do need to start thinking about some research, so first level research centre, heat. I've got to think a little about heat because it produces heat, but to be honest, probably not that much. So, what's the temperatures down here? 20, 20, 20, it's all room temperature around here. So we'll stick the research centre down there. We'll have to sleep again. So come down there. Plug that in. So we can build some bigger batteries, put them somewhere cold later. These wheezeworts, let's click on those to tell you what they are during the night. Well, they tell you a few things while they're sleeping. It's a cold dwelling plant. What you can do is you can plant it elsewhere as well, and it removes ambient heat. There are machines to do it, but you can do it with plants. And there's actually a wheezewort seed there, which I can dig up. Actually, there's lots of wheezewort around here, so this will mean this area stays cold. That's a vacuum, there's some oxygen there, that's a vacuum as well. So, built our research centre. First thing we're going to do is farming, because it gives us compost heaps and planters. And this, around here, this would be really ideal. Let's dig this out a little bit more. Stay out of the cold biome for the minute. Just got to turn on, to make these research units, turn those on continuously as well. So that's the research going on. And I've got to start thinking about food, but in the first initial game, the choices are either planting food or making food. Now when you make food and you make something called a micro muncher here, this produces really low quality food, and it's combining dirt and water to make a thing which you can catch disease from because it's that low quality. Or I go straight to growing plants, but it does take time to grow plants. I'm down to 18,000 calories, 4 guys, that isn't a problem. As you can see here, we're also starting to gain or get carbon dioxide is starting to be a bit of a problem. So I could do with producing a carbon dioxide dump. So if I just dumped it down into here, there's some polluted oxygen down here which I can get rid of. The guys, it's toxic, but the guys will breathe it. They can't breathe in carbon dioxide, that's completely unbreathable. And I do need to, if we have a look up here, I've got very little algae for making an algae dioxidizer, so I need to start thinking about gathering algae. So yes, there's a bit of algae here. Oh, there's a geyser here. That produces steam, which you can make sort of fresh water and stuff out of as well, so we'll mess around with that at some point. Luckily, as you can see down here, polluted water sinks and plain water stops. So if I dug all this out, turned this into a water reservoir, I could cool water here and let it flow down. Trouble is, water does, see that's 68 degrees, this water here. It can be a bit of a problem, so... Right, I'm just going to have a quick think during this sleep cycle and I'll bring you back. Right, don't normally have a problem with this with only 4 people, but somebody's made a mess here. It's not because they're stressed, it's because they couldn't get to the toilet. I expect it's because somebody was unbunging it. I've just set the research off to getting liquid plumbing. I've got all this mess to clear up here, so because standing polluted water is not a good idea. I've got another duplicant on the way as well. I have decided to dig down through here. I can clear all this out and I can make this my water store down here. There's a little bit of starting to get down here into obsidian and such. Like, got a little slight grey layer between us. There's a slime biome here. These tend to be quite warm. An ice biome here. There's a phosphorite and a different biome up here, and there's a slimy greeny biome over here. Now these purple biomes seem to generate a lot of chlorine, which can be a bit of a problem, plus some hydrogen, which again can be a bit of a problem. At least we can use hydrogen, build a hydrogen generator, burn it off, create electricity, which I can't seem to do anything with chlorine at the moment. I haven't seen any other creatures. These hatchlings here, they're useful for producing coal. Let's have a quick look while we're sleeping. Choose a duplicant. We have, right, Marie here is a digger. She's got 3 strength, but she's flatulent, which produces a lot of bad gas. Other guys just, yeah. But decor exploitation is good. Here we've got diver's lungs. Bottomless stomach means you eat all your food, which isn't particularly good, I'm not keen on. This is getting as a lazy guy. I'm going to reject all those for the minute. I'll just sit at 4. Excuse me. There's this sand here. I expect if I dig all this away, this water might break through here and come down here anyway, which isn't a problem. Just going to mop up a little bit of that contaminated water there. So a little bit of contaminated. If I keep mopping this, they will just keep mopping and mopping and will waste a lot of water. Now water isn't a problem at the moment. It could be though. There isn't a lot of spare water around. If I want to get into electrolyzers to produce oxygen, I'm going to need a fair supply of clean water. So I'm tempted to dig down through here and dump this into my water pile down through here. The chances of this contaminated water is because of this slime here. So I'm going to dig the ladder further down and we will dig out what we can out of here. Dig that out there as well. I can dig this through later. Usually start from the top and dig down, because that way you're not having to make platforms for yourself. How about for storage? Oh, I had to delete that storage, didn't I? Just put some more. Put some storage in there. And see, I haven't done anything up here yet. I know I've got a little bit of oxygen in here, not a lot. Actually, there is a high concentration of oxygen, but we also have some of this contaminated water. So, actually, what I could do with doing is getting in above there, cleaning it out. So we'll come. What we'll do is we'll come up from here. Just build this ladder up. And you see this oxylite here isn't producing anything because it's chocker in here anyway. So once I've built that up, I can come across here, dig 4 high, that'll come into here, which means I then can mop that up. So then we'll come down here, we'll go mop. I shall probably ladder to come up there. So rather than waste resources, let's cancel that ladder. Let's build a ladder up from there. I like to keep my ladders in line, just I think it saves time. I will build a tile there. So there we go, that's all that water mopped up. And while I'm here as well, we'll mop this water up here. So there's a little meal lice there. I'm getting a bit low on food, down to 11,000 calories. Oh, finish my research, so let's research. I'm going to research power regulation so I can get some bigger batteries. The whole point is to generate power, save power so you can power your electrical things. Now, at the moment I've got a lot, but that soon changes. And we're down here already. So I need to dig out that. That'll stop producing, I think it's the slime. Oh yeah, I know slime produces contaminated or polluted oxygen. So I keep calling it contaminated. In a patch before this, it used to be called contaminated. So, what are we up to now? They're right. They're building that up there. Building that there. I'm going to keep. Yeah, so a little layer of polluted oxygen down. Polluted material at the bottom isn't too much of a problem at the moment, but. Going to, let's dig that out while I'm thinking about what's next, and we'll dig out that, and we'll dig out some of this copper because copper's always good to dig out. A bit of coal there as well. Coal generators come later game, obviously powered with coal. Oh, I've got to keep everything in there. Now what I should do with this is take out, you see now we will take out slime and polluted dirt out of each of these because I really don't want to put slime and polluted dirt in there and produce polluted oxygen. Polluted dirt, you have to do this with every single one. Okay. Think about what we're going to do with the... So we want to dig down through this. The carbon dioxide will come down here, which means all this polluted oxygen will sit... It all sits in layers. Hydrogen's the lightest, and then it comes down to oxygen. That will sit on top of polluted oxygen, which will sit on top of the carbon dioxide, which will pool in the bottom here. And I'll have to build a scrubber at some point to get rid of that, but at the moment I just want to chuck it into a hole. This game's... I haven't really got a plan. So I'm going to pause it there and think a little bit more. So I'm not 100% sure what my priorities are here. But I've gone for some planters down here. I'm going to plant briar seeds down there because we will, or blossom seeds, not briar seeds, because we will have loads of them later. They take a fair time to grow though, so the sooner we can get going with those the better. Let's have a quick look at our duplicant availability. We've got narcoleptic, he's a digger, good. Still haven't got a decent cook though. Oh, he's got really good decor expectation, diver's lungs and is anemic, so basically he's got no skills. He's a level 1, level 0 lump as they say, but he's not expecting a lot. No. Quite like this one. Will fall asleep, but again is digging, a little bit creative, a little bit, well there's this one over here, but she's a mouth breather, which means she uses up a lot more oxygen. As you can see there, oxygen rate is 100 grams per second above what everyone else is. So that takes us up to 5. Now food is going to be a priority. Let's open our research and go decor, because that's going to be a bit of a problem. Stress is starting to go up. So dig that, plant, got some seed there, and as you can see I've opened up this sort of green area here. Need to dig some sand out there, and I need to drop this carbon dioxide, which is going to be a bit of a problem here as well. So let's do that. Let's dig. Need to dig all that out there, so it all falls into there, and I want to build a ladder down there so they don't get stuck. Can't remember why I built across here now. Oh, with mop, that was it. Mop up some of that. So we have a little bit of polluted oxygen around, but not a lot. A lot more down here. I'm going to have to start thinking about what to do with that. In fact, let's have a look at my research tab up here. To get rid of polluted oxygen, I need these air deodorizers here, or I need an animal which I can't see at the moment, so called a puffer fish or a puffed fish. Like this guy down here. This guy here, he emits slime, but he does emit breathable oxygen. He converts this polluted oxygen. So, but it's the problem is the slime produces polluted oxygen, so it's like a there we go. There goes that water. Get rid of these two, otherwise you're going to be stuck there. Right. So once all this is sorted out, this should all be fine. We're going to need to start producing oxygen. So I'm going to need an algae generator, or deoxidizer here. So let's put an algae deoxidizer there. And oxygen will pretty much may do up here. We want to keep it nice where the guys sleep. We've got heavy watt wire now as well, so I'm going to start joining that in. I can move it later. But producing more oxygen will depress the carbon dioxide and the polluted oxygen down here as well anyway. So we shouldn't be producing any more polluted oxygen because I got rid of the slime that was sort of down here. Right, so that's all the water being sent down there. There's a fair amount of pollution in it, but hopefully the guys will take the water that's on top, that's unpolluted, and it shouldn't be a problem. So, right now, low atmospheric pressure, so we raise the pressure, as you can see here, 60. What I want is lots of this really light blue stuff, which is really up here, because obviously now we've uncovered this oxalite. There's another research done. Open research. We'll choose the last one, first level gas piping. Don't need it, but let's get it out of the way. Got to have morbs in here. Sorry, not morbs, hatchlings. So we'll give them some sandstone too. Tell you what, I can give them lots of sandstone. I can pull a trick here. Can build, let's do it priority 9. Put a base that all gone to sleep, of course. Well, I've got to think about food a bit quicker. 18,000 calories of food. See, found a couple of meal lice somewhere just to keep us topped up. The other thing I can do is food in here. This is unrefrigerated, but I can build these ration boxes over here, which will keep them refrigerated. So because I've now got down in this area here, -12, -5, This is obsidian, that's granite. There's a little bit of snow and ice in there, so let's dig out. I'll go one. So that's a floor. 1, 2, 3, floor 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I put a floor in there. So if we get a tile now. As you can see, I can build this tile out of all this stuff down here. It automatically defaults to certain things. At the moment it's sandstone. Sandstone gives you a slightly better decor. Decor. This one here gives you an overheat temperature of 15 degrees, plus it's better for the decor. That's made out of granite. Igneous rock gives you an overheat temperature of plus 15 as well, and obsidian gives you. So ideally I'd like to build things out of granite because it gives you a higher decor value. But I think for the minute we're going to stick to sandstone. So we're going to go floor 1, 2, 3, 4, floor. So we're going to build a floor in here. And I've got some, there's polluted ice, snow, granite. So we'll let's dig this out here. Actually, cancel all that. I don't need. I only want to build them. If I'm going to have storage boxes, they don't need to be. They can be too high, and I can have twice as many of them. So we can have. Could I do it over here? Yeah, because this is foodish. I'm growing food here. We dig across here, dig out all this obsidian. Right, let's do that. Let's go up and across. Really dig out too much snow. Might end up having to put a door in and maybe something to keep the cold coming too far. Look at the heat overlay, so it gets very chilly over here. Some plants won't be able to keep it. Let's look at blossom seeds. Let's plant a couple of those. Right, so go stick to ration boxes. Now let's choose something below -10, so let's put a ration box in here. And they should come along and make that fairly quickly. Don't need to put a floor in. This hatch here, I want to keep him. He's going to eat something. There we go. I don't know what he's eating, doesn't tell you, but... Oh, I need some more storage. Alright, that there... What was my plan? I built that up there for a reason, and I can't remember what now. So, what was I going to put up there? I was going to put a load of sandstone for them to eat. That was right. So, come down to raw mineral. We have, if you look at your raw minerals, sandstone's 137,000. You always masses and masses of sandstone. So we'll make that priority 9 as well. We'll fill that with sandstone. And when it's filled, I can deconstruct it, demolish it, whatever the word is. Here we go. Right, put that. I want to make that 6. I want to put all the food in there. Anything edible will go down in there then. Sandstone. Right. So once it's full, deconstruct it, and that will give the hatchlings lots of resource that I don't mind losing to eat. Now whether that's going to increase their coal productivity, I don't know. So there we go. And I don't want to put... Oh, right. Yeah, they're going to start collecting that sandstone and putting it elsewhere. Which I don't necessarily want to do. Actually, they're going to fill this up with lots of other stuff with a bit of luck. So, a bit of sweeping to do up there. I said stuff on the floor does have a negative effect on the decor, so let's take it up to 6 duplicants. I'm not producing any food yet, so unless there's anybody really good, like a decent cook. You've got 2 cooking, but you can't build anything, and you are going to spend longer on the toilet, so actually I'm going to reject all those for the minute. It's not that nobody else will cook, it's that they can't cook very well. So over here I've got 11 kilos. He's eating a bristleberry. Yeah, picked up a bristleberry somewhere then. Bristleberries are produced by these things here, bristle blossoms. You can either wait till they drop them and then automatically go and pick it up. Right, you're idle. Got nothing to do. Who's got anything to do? He's delivering sandstone. So anyway, well, let's give you some digging to do then. Or let's build. Yeah. Put a floor in down here then. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a floor. We'll just push that across. And we'll dig those out. And we'll build some storage down here because I can't think of anything else to do for that. That metal and that algae will be useful. You can see the algae oxidizer here. Overlaid, made lots and lots of oxygen around here. Brilliant. Up here is getting a little bit purpley, if you like, so that's a bit down. Right, gonna have a quick look around and bring you back. Okay, so I've dug out some sand here, and this guy here is now he's on to build. Here we go, build. So build across there. Using sandstone for that, brilliant. And we'll plant a few blossom seeds. I've got. No, I don't want that. Plant some mealwood. Needs a warmer environment, so we're going to do that up here. So, but I think that'll be about it for the episode. So I've got sort of a plan. I want to use this geyser over here somehow, so it'll produce hot water, but it needs some way of cooling it down. Now I can. Trouble is that down here it's around room temperature, and I don't want to produce too much. As you can see, the carbon dioxide has all been squished down here because I'm producing lots of oxygen to squish it down. That's fine as long as my algae keeps up. So things are going quite nicely, but so I've got this huge area here. Pity the geyser. Yeah, it's pity the geyser. If I could find a geyser up here, I could run it down through here and use this to cool it down. There are machines you can cool it down, but they use power, etc., etc. So yeah, it's going all right. I've got a little bit of stress up here, so I'm going to need to deal with that. But we'll deal with that in the next episode. Catch you all next time.